Hi yogis, welcome to this practice of Apana, the downward energy. We're going to look a little bit more into the concept of energy release. So for this practice, we're going to need a blanket. You can also use a large towel as usual. I like to have it folded twice for my head to begin with, and then you can make your way onto your backs whenever you're ready. So find a comfortable position on your back. I like to have my feet on the mat so that my lower back has a little bit of space. You can walk them apart, drop the knees together, maybe place your palms onto your belly. And just take a moment to arrive here in your practice, in your body, in your space. Allowing for your mind to settle here. Allowing for your thoughts to quiet down. And notice your breath calming down here as well. Once you have the idea or the feeling of feeling a little bit more centered here in this position, a little bit more at the spot you are at right now, you can start to focus your attention into these areas where you feel tension. Right, so anywhere there where you feel tightness, where you feel maybe a little bit congested, and it can be anything, doesn't even just have to be muscular tension, it can be digestion, it can be tightness in the throat, right, a feeling of your nostrils clogging up. Just allow for whatever it is to be here and to be released within this practice. So when we talk about Apana, the idea is getting rid of redundant energy. It is the counterpart to prana, the uprising energy, anything that we need to activate ourselves. But in our stressful times, oftentimes we need the opposite. We need to let go a little bit more. Start to open your eyes and deepen your breath just a little bit. Send it in and out of the belly. And hold on to your knees. Let your arms be straight here. Rest your head. And as you exhale, press your knees into your chest gently to press the breath out. Inhale to release, lengthen arms. And exhale to pull the knees into the chest. As you can see, I'm going really slow. So I'm following my breath. And I'm not even pushing very far. I'm not trying to go to my max. I'm just doing 5 rounds of inhale, exhale, and maybe even pursed lips eventually. Arriving back with your arms straight here. And then take your knees into your chest. And from there, you can just let your knees part a little bit further. Straighten the legs out into a V shape. And I'm going to start by opening the inner thighs here. So take your arms between your legs, making fists with your hands, tight fists. And let your forearms press against your inner thighs as your inner thighs want to press back against your forearms. So you resist with your legs as you press your arms out. The feet stay flexed. Again, legs are super active, arms are active. This is just a position or a method to make your legs and your muscles a little bit softer. So immediately after you release here, you will notice that your legs come a little bit further. You can just soften your feet here, hands to the inner thighs for a second, just stretching out inner thighs, inner hips, and then fold them together with your hands, come back with your arms to the sides and shake your feet out for a second. Stretch your legs up high and then exhale to let your knees fall back into your chest. Gain a little bit of momentum to roll up into a seat from here and stretch your legs out in front of you now. Now, I like to sit up on my blanket. You can just sit up straight with maybe your sit bones a little bit further back and flex your toes. I'm going to start lifting the arms up, gaining a little bit of length here around our torso. And as we exhale, pulling the elbows back forcefully, making fists. So use your inhale to get long and use your exhale to pull the energy down. So this concept is what we're going to work with a lot today, pulling the energy down. Feeling almost a little bit heavier as a good thing. We're so trained to be light and we always want to be weightless, but today we're really trying to notice how nice and how comfortable it can feel to be heavy. Release your hands behind you after about 5 to 6 repetitions and start lifting the right leg up. A little bit of engagement for your right thigh, and you can turn the toes in, turn them out. Bring the foot down, and let's repeat the other side. Left leg lifts, turn it out, turn it in. Good, and then come back up straight, take your arms up and do it again. Notice that makes it a lot harder. Be patient with yourself. And whenever you're ready, exhale to fold forward over your legs. Surrender for a second. Allow for your upper body to soften. Allow for your breath to fill up the back body all the way from the crown of the head down towards the lower back, palms facing up. You're not pulling, you're not pushing, you're just surrendering to gravity again. After a few breaths here, no rush at all, you're slowly going to start rolling up again. And then step your feet onto the mat, cross the shins, and from here, we're going to roll forward. Before we do that, bring your blanket into a rolled shape. So I like to roll it up something like this. It doesn't have to be a perfect burrito or anything like that. Just a little bit of elevation here, and then come onto all fours. Now you want to have space behind you on the mat. Place your wrists about shoulder distance apart and start opening and closing the chest with your breath. So you're going to use your inhale to open wide into the front space, exhale round into the back space. About 3 times, just to give your spine a little bit of mobility here. Nothing too crazy. And then maybe you start circling your torso a few times. So you have that feeling of your belly button guiding the movement, circling about 3 rounds in one direction and then another 3 rounds into the other. And once you finish that 3rd round on the other side, extend your right leg behind you, kick the heel away from you, turn the toes down, and then turn them out and maybe gaze over to the foot. Inhale to center, exhale, turn the toes out about 3 rounds. Look towards that foot, hold it. As you exhale, set the foot down to the mat. Now press into the right toes to lift the left knee off the mat. You're going to hug in your belly a little bit. And then you're going to swing the knee from side to side. Now this can be with your left toes on the mat. It can be with your foot in the air as I'm doing it right now. Swinging, twisting from side to side a couple of times. And then extend the left leg behind you. Get really long here in your back. And as you exhale next, whenever that is, you're going to step that left foot through between your hands. Dropping the back knee, giving yourself space in the front, climbing up onto the front thigh whenever you're done here. And then sink a little bit further into the front hip flexor. Notice the front hip opening. Enjoy that feeling of space as you open the arms to both sides. And lean back with your next inhale. As you exhale, you're going to try and hug the thigh in as you round forward over the leg. And as you inhale, you let the hips come forward, open up. Exhale, rounding, hugging in. Inhale, opening. Good. Keep going. As you stretch the front thigh, you're folding over that leg. And then hold here. And really shifting the left hip back consciously. Enjoying that feeling of space in the area of the IT band in the back of the hamstring. Fingertips on the mat. Reach forward with your chest. Energy comes down and step it back into all fours. Feel grounded with your hands, with your knees, with your feet. Take a breath. Take a cat-cow. And come back towards center. Roll the shoulders back and down. Other side. Left foot kicks back behind you. Super long spine. Turn the foot out. Maybe gaze over. Turn it back in. I like to do about 3 rounds of this movement. And then hold it after that 3rd round. So you feel the outer hip, outer leg engaging before we stretch it out later. Tuck the toes. Press down through the left toes. And lift the right knee up. This time I'll show you the variation with my toes on the mat. Again, you can have the foot lifted. twisting from side to side here in your plank variation. And then eventually pressing into the left leg so you can extend the right leg behind you, one-legged downward dog. Finding space here in your back body as you kick that foot away. And as you exhale next, step the right foot through, make your way into a lunge, drop the back knee down to the mat. Come up onto the front thigh and really let your front hip open the front, chest widens. And as you exhale, hug the right thigh in with your arms. Doesn't matter how low you go, it doesn't matter how straight your leg goes. Just find a rhythm that matches your breath. Feeling spacious, curling in and giving your belly a little bit of a compression here so that your digestion gets stimulated. Another idea of Apana is aiding with digestion. After holding this for about 2 to 3 breaths, release your arms down to the mat, rebend the right knee, sink low into the front hip, and step it back into your tabletop. One more movement of your choice, allowing for your body to be heavy as you move, and then sit back onto your heels, slowly coming up here into Virasana. I'll show you from the front. You can stay where you are. Take your arms out to the sides. Make sure you have a little bit of space. And start to blink your fingers. Open, close your hands with a little bit of power to the sides and down to the mat. And do that a couple of rounds. Lift it up and then consciously bring the energy down. Do that once again. Now this is stimulating the lymphatic system, another system that works with Apana, with releasing anything that you don't need in your body. It just transports it out of your body. After the 3rd round, relax your breath, relax your wrists, and come back to all fours. Now, this time tuck your toes under, so come to seated on your heels with your toes tucked. Take your arms wide one more time. We're going to do 3 energetic twists. Twist over to the right side, inhale, like a watch, and then exhale, twist over to the left. Inhale, kind of pulling yourself there, gaining a little bit of tension, and then exhale to twist over to the left. Let's do that 3 rounds total. Good, hugging your torso with your arms. Good, come to both sides, right to the other side, twisting over towards the left this time, kind of pulling up a watch again, and then exhale, release into the twist. Good, about 2 more. Always using the exhale to twist here, kind of throwing your arms around the torso. A little bit of a self-massage. Last round here. And as you inhale next, open your arms again. Reach them up high, gain space, and draw your prayer down through center. Release your hands down to the mat. And from here, hands down, knees down, back to your tabletop, and just tap your feet onto the mat. Tops of the feet open. And you move back into downward facing dog from here. Good. Just a moment here in your down dog. Do whatever movement feels good for you in this position. Walk your toes together to touch as you exhale. Inhale to lift the right leg long. Exhale, step the right foot through. Once again, coming into a lunge. This time, maybe with your back knee lifted if that's available. Bend into the back knee. Make the tailbone extra long and reach your arms up here. Now from here, start by inhaling and exhale. Pull your fists down, moving your elbows behind you. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, pulling elbows, pulling fists behind you. And do that one more time. Exhale, pull, and you can use your legs as well. Now bring the energy down. Place your hands down to the inside of the right leg, I believe it is. And just drop the back knee a little bit. Notice gravity. Notice your weight. Allow yourself to be heavy. Feel the connection to the earth. And then release that and step back right into your down dog. Drop the head. Maybe taking a few open mouth exhales. Sigh it out. Flutter your lips, whatever you need. With the next exhale, start to walk your toes together to touch. Inhale to sweep the left leg up behind you. Exhale to step that left foot through. Find your lunge again. Make sure that you're steady here as you climb up onto the front thigh. The knee stays over the ankle. You lean back a little bit. Lengthen your lower back. Pull your lower belly in. Reach your arms up. Reach up and exhale. Pull down the energy. Next time, inhale, straighten your legs. Exhale, bend both knees. Good. Inhale. Quite forceful in your breath. Good. Nice. And then bring the energy down. Touch the floor. Walk the hands to the inside of the left leg. Knee stays in line with the shoulder. Maybe the back knee drops a little bit. So you really enjoy this feeling of weight. It's a very grounding exercise to do. Frame your foot again. Step it back into your down dog. Drop the head. Maybe this time shake it out if it feels good. And you can add any exhale that feels good in this shape. Before you start to drop the knees, soften down to the mat, come back into seated on your heels. Find your rolled blanket again. And now from here, what we're going to do is come onto our bellies with the center of the thigh on the rolled blanket, center of the thigh. So the quad gets a little bit of pressure here. Notice how this feels. If this is too much, just unroll your blanket a little bit, right? Or just fold it. Find a position here with the blanket under your thighs and roll your heels out and in a couple of times. And just notice where you feel most pressure. You can try to bend your knees, keep your feet parallel. Maybe hold on to the left foot with the left arm as you let the right leg, right foot come down. Head is heavy. Now you get a shoulder opening, you get an opening in the quad, and you just hold for a second. Should feel pretty intense, so again, you don't have to go that far. Switch legs at center, holding onto the right foot whenever you're ready, and let the left foot drop down. Sometimes it can feel nice to bring a little more weight into that side where the knee is bent, so let that hip be heavy. And then when you feel ready and when you feel complete, bend both knees and maybe try to hold on to both feet. And this goes actually less into the quad. This is more of a back bend for you. You can rest your chin down. Always gentle with your knees. And let your feet release back down to the mat. And we're going to lift the hips so we can now shift the blanket a little further forward so that now it will be right under your hip bones instead of the lower belly, right? So make sure it's right under the hip bones before you lift your arms to the sides, maybe your feet too. Now you're flying here a little bit over your mat. You feel your hip pressing down. This is another stimulating exercise for the lymphatic system. We have a lot of lymph around that hip area. As you exhale, next press down, press up and back into all fours. Coming to sit down on your heels. Open the knees a little wider. Now bring the rolled blanket right under your belly. I hope you didn't just eat anything. And you're going to fold and drape your body over the blanket into a child's pose. Now this has several benefits, but it can also be too much. So if it's too much, you're just going to fold the blanket instead, or you can just come into a regular wide knee child's pose. If it is great, if it feels like a release, you might feel it in your lower back, a little more space here. Or you could feel it around your navel, right? And you feel a little bit of compression that you can breathe into, stimulating again, stimulating digestion. The idea of Apana, as you inhale, come up and feel a little bit of release around the navel. Taking a moment here just to notice that. And then whenever you're ready and whenever you caught your breath again, come back into all fours. Bring the blanket to the side. And then from the side, bring it between your knees and sit back on the blanket. Now again, if your knees are too sensitive for this, you're not going to do that one. You're just going to come right into your Shavasana. Or you can straighten one leg out, roll over to whatever other side there is, and have one knee bent, right? So now my left leg is straight, my right knee is bent, and I'm going to come down into what's called Supta Vajrasana. This is a really intense opening for the quad, so please don't go very far. You can keep your hands on the floor. That is absolutely fine. It's really only about what you feel and what stretch works for you. If you do want to go further like me, and if you feel quite open in your quad, then maybe you want to come further down onto your elbows, eventually maybe even onto your back. There's nothing wrong with you if you don't come that far. It's not better to come further down. It really just has to do with tension in the quad and strength in the hamstring. Come back up slowly. Whenever you feel ready, roll over to one side, stretch out the right leg this time, and then move your toes for a second. Just notice the blood flow coming back. Move onto the right side, bend into the left knee. Sit onto a little bit of elevation, right? So just a little bit of support for your knee at least. And then roll down again. So this can mean coming onto your elbows. This can mean staying on your hands. Or again, if you do have the space and it feels really good to you, come down all the way onto your back. I like to extend my arms behind my head. Wherever you can still breathe is where you are right. You don't want to stop breathing. This is all about releasing tension, about giving up tension. So if at any point this feels like adding tension and you're not in the right position, then you just come out of it again. Take another breath. Before you come back up slowly. Hold on to what you can hold on to, coming onto your elbows, coming onto your hands. Take your time, roll onto your right side, this time extending the left leg. And move your toes. Release the blanket from underneath, bend your knees. And then slide the blanket under your knees here. As you're ready to come down, you're slowly going to make your way back into your back body. Notice that. Maybe close your eyes for a second, just noticing the shape that we started with. How does it feel now? Allowing the exhale to take over again. And then final movement here, coming back into a happy baby sort of shape. Holding onto your big toe, stretch the right leg out. Maybe roll a little bit onto the right side. Shoulders heavy, head heavy. Bend into the right knee, stretch out the left leg. Maybe roll a little bit onto that left side. And bending both knees. Slowly, feet to the mat. One more lazy twist towards the left with your knees. Just drop them over like a windshield wiper. Inhale, center, exhale to the right. And that's it. Make your way into your favorite relaxing position. So for me, this is Shavasana with my knees on a rolled blanket, with my hands on my belly. It could be with your arms to the side. It could be with your feet on the mat. It could be lying on your side. Allow yourself to find that optimal position, the one that feels like sighing out. And again, giving up energy, making space for new energy to come in. Means to release. So now, after stimulating all these systems in our body that are working with that Apana energy, with the idea of releasing redundant parts, allow for your body to take over again. Almost moving into a passive state here, where you just quietly watch with your inner eye what's happening. We're just witnessing all these systems working and trusting that your body knows exactly what to let go of. Give yourself a little bit of time here in your relaxation for your thoughts to settle, for the energy to move down. And if it feels right for you, you can imagine a wave washing over you several times from the top to the bottom. Stay in this image for as long as feels good and comfortable for you. Whenever you're ready, come into a seat and take your time to come out of this practice. Thank you so much for joining me today.